Dirty Dually refurbished part 2. Shock cross member, a little bit thin, bolts are broke out of it. Shock cross member 2.0. These are off of a tanker trailer, they were free. Bottom plates for the rear end don't work very well with Dana 80s, so that's my homemade one. Shock bolt. Right about here, there's going to be a spot for a ladder bar. This truck being a two-wheel drive, it's always had a problem with the e-brake cables getting ripped right off. There's a second gen bracket. This is cabin chassis frame, so it's a little bit different than a normal first gen. Come here, all stock second gen e-brake bracket, stock bracket off the second gen frame. It even fits in the pedal. So that's the top half of the first gen brake pedal. This is the bottom half, don't need that. Bottom half, second gen pedal. This is just a second gen clutch pedal. It's been shortened like maybe 2.5 inches. Cab's like a 84 maybe. So the clutch pedal hits the bulkhead connector. Gotta move that over an inch or so. Tried to make a template out of a 90s cab, but I didn't cut it big enough to actually line up with anything like the top here, so it didn't really work out. This is stock second gen. Too much of an angle. This is out of the garbage off of like a Ford maybe, not really sure. Shifter boot is out of like a 1990 something Toyota pickup. This is third gen Hemi truck. This is 80s Ford Ranger. So I'm going to build a reinforcement plate that looks something like this out of 3/16 diamond plate. I'm not really sure what's going on with the pedals yet. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to take a break. Here's my CAD, my cardboard assisted design. Bulkhead fitting was too close to the slave. Good thing I made it out of cardboard. Just add a little bit of masking tape in there, cut a little bit more out, good to go. Transfer it to this really rusty piece of steel that probably used to be 1/4 inch, but now it's 3/16 after I ground it. Bolted a piece of steel on the back side. You can see it right there. I'm going to drill through both at the same time, so I have a reinforcement for the back side. This drill, completely done. Let all the smoke out. This one started smoking. Now we're going to switch to this one. Yep, got into the sauce. I guess this is going to be a to be continued tomorrow. Last video was 10 days ago. I worked on the dually. Broke like 75 drill bits already. Just kind of drill a hole. Really wish I had a plasma cutter, but if you drill holes all the way around the circle, stick drill bit in all the way that way, all the way that way, you can just make it work. Got a decent looking circle started in both layers of steel. Now I just got to clean it up with a Dremel with a burr, and then should be alright. Whenever I go out to the restaurant with the kids, and they're coloring on cardboard or whatever the paper is they put on the table, I always steal the crayons, but I actually went out and bought a 20-pack of Sharpies to work on my truck. And then where the U-bolts go on these leaf spring top plates is pretty wide. They're out of like a 2005 3/4 ton diesel Chevy van. Not really happy with these U-bolts. They're used off of a first gen parts truck I had, and I added these helper springs just because that's the length of the U-bolts that I had for free. I was on a really tight budget when I did that. I want to make it a little bit better, so I went out and bought brand new U-bolts. When you put a second gen diff on a first gens have 2.5 inch leaf springs. Second gen, the heavy duty ones, they have 3-inch leaf springs, so the perch is 3-inch. I would highly recommend trimming the perch to 2.5 or changing it to 2.5 before installing it in the truck. So now I'm going to either use a Dremel with a burr or a flap wheel or a cutoff wheel or something, but I bet you this brand new-ish brake line is going to get replaced. Back to the dually today. Got my holes die grinded for my shock bolts. Got a Dodge Dakota shifter now instead of the Ranger one. I got these hydraulics out of a Dakota. They should work if I change this piece. Got some extra paint on the firewall. And I got my reinforcement plates painted. I haven't test fit them yet, hopefully they fit. And there's the plate for the backside. That looks pretty good. I wanted to see if I could start it. I haven't started it since I changed the turbo oil line. Somebody took the key out of it. It's the only key I had. Really hard to see, but there's my reinforcement plate for the backside. It actually lines up really good with the push rod, but my only concern is the length on the Dakota one. Maybe it's different from a Ram. Maybe I have to lengthen it. Maybe I have to shorten it. I'll figure that out later. I let the kids play in the truck when it's not super full of stuff. So I guess maybe I'm gonna clean the truck out now. I'm gonna end the video here. Hopefully I can find the key. I guess if I don't find it, I'll just have to find a set of door locks and a new ignition.